worked a corporate job for 12 years, six-figure salary, kind of worked long hours and always dreamed to build something of my own, to achieve this freedom of time that is only achievable when you're building your own projects.
Leveraging business credit changed my life a lot, which I was able to quit my 8 to 5 job and just went into business full time and just continue to growing my business and leveraging business credit.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Michael Jordan, and here on the podcast with me today, I have two very good friends, Gennadiy and Serg. They run something really interesting that I'm going to use personally, and that I think a lot of you guys could use as well. So they're in the space of 0% business credit and funding. So this could help all of you guys with buying more inventory, spending more on marketing dollars, or paying off any other debt, and a bunch of other things that they're going to tell us about today. So very excited to chat with you guys more and go through this. Let's just jump into it. All right. So what's your guys' story? And just give us a brief overview of how you got started and why you got into this niche.
Hey, Michael, thank you for having us. And for everybody who's watching, I think it's the subject that any business owner or anybody in space where they're trying to either start or grow, it's the fuel for the things that you do in that space. So my story while we're here is I've actually taken myself from $1,000 to $680,000 of credit available to my name within less than 2 years. I've leveraged that credit into e-commerce space, which would be Amazon store. We've built up our store to 1.5 million the first 12 months. Then I've leveraged that income into buying a house in Arizona, turned that into Airbnb, and all of the makeover, like a putting golf green on the backyard, heated pool, all the furniture, I've used business credit into using that money as a spend to grow that side of business. So for me, leveraging business credit changed my life a lot, which I was able to quit my 8 to 5 job and just went into business full time and just continue to growing my business and leveraging business credit.
Hey guys, my name is Serg Rudenko. I'm an immigrant to the United States. I came here with my parents when I was 10 years old, and then everybody in my family was always a W-2 worker. So I worked a corporate job for 12 years, very nice job, six-figure salary, kind of worked long hours and always dreamed to build something of my own, to achieve this freedom of time that is only achievable when you're building your own projects. And so I discovered 0% business credit. And at first, for me, it sounded, too good to be true. But as I dug deeper, I realized that banks will give you this introductory rate for business credit, 6 to 18 months on average. And you can start a business, you can invest, you can scale without using your own cash or your 401 savings or whatever. And so instead of waiting for years, I decided to pull the plug, leverage this business credit. I've built up myself to about 400,000 and used it to launch my first e-commerce store, which was an Amazon store. Use this funding to purchase inventory, test ads, build my own brand, and all of it without touching again my personal savings. And so when the profits started rolling in, I obviously started reinvesting. I had a Airbnb arbitrage project that I started reinvesting into, and a few other projects. And so the result of all of it, the result of me kind of leveraging this business credit is buying myself or obtaining freedom of time, exactly what I wanted. And so now I just focus on expanding, optimizing, and helping others realize that they don't need to be stuck either in their corporate job or in their business, right? Because they can leverage this 0% business credit and build a business, invest into assets, and kind of create a life that they truly want to have.
So I've taken loans before, right? Like traditional loans where you owe principal and interest every single month. I've put stuff on like credit cards and paid the interest whenever I didn't know. I've taken loans from Amazon, from Shopify, like any from the government during the COVID era and those SBA loans. Like I've taken all kinds of debt on and fortunately been able to pay it back. But I'm thinking about all the interest that I've paid. So, Serge, why, like, I'm skeptical. Whenever I first heard about this and you guys told me about this, like, I was very skeptical until you showed me the inner workings and everything, right? So, like, tell me more about why 0% business credit and just like dig into it, man.
Sure, yeah. So, 0% business credit is just a strategic way to build and scale while preserving, again, your own cash. And here's why it's beneficial, right? Number one, you have access to capital without paying interest, right? Many business credit cards will offer this 0%, APR introductory periods. And so it's going to allow you to have either to finance your startup costs or your inventory purchases or your marketing dollars without these immediate, high interest payments. Number two, it's gonna protect, like I mentioned, your personal finances, right? Unlike personal credit, this business credit is gonna separate your company's financial activities from your personal credit score, right? So it's gonna protect your personal assets and it's gonna improve your overall financial security. Number three, you're going to build business credit, right? So using and repaying this 0% business credit responsibly, it kind of helps you establish this strong long-term business credit profile with the banks, right? Which makes it easier to qualify for higher credit limits, loans, and better financing terms in the future as you build your business. What else? It also allows for faster growth, right?
Mm,
Using and repaying 0% business credit, um, instead of waiting to generate revenue while relying on your savings, right? Or even your cash flow, you can use this 0% business credit to fund marketing, right? Hiring, expansion, whatever it is. And you kind of just accelerate your company's growth, right? Because you get it for a certain period of time. You're not paying interest to the banks, say for a year, and you have all that time to invest into a certain part of your business and scale it. Um, Again, we said it preserves cash flow. And I guess last but not least, I mean, you can leverage without the stress of debt, right? Because as
yeah.
long as you're paying that minimum payment, which is only 1% per month on the balances that you're using, you essentially get this, free money to scale your business without any interest cost.
Yeah, and there's, a lot of people are scared of debt, but there's good debt and then there's bad debt. And this is a form of good debt. Now, if like you're watching this and you use this to go buy a Lambo or something, that would be a bad use of this, right? Use this to fund your business and grow your
Sure.
business and then use the that money to buy a Lambo if that's what you want to do, right?
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah, so I mean, Gennady, let's like, I want to hear from you. You mentioned you started, well, both of you guys started like Amazon and ecom brands. So like, is that how you guys think is the best way to use this? A lot of the people watching this are in ecom, are in Amazon, but also they're probably in real estate and other business verticals. So, what are some of the ways or places or businesses that you could use this for?
Well, a few other things I wanted to add regarding why 0% business credit also.
Hmm.
The biggest thing that it would be so awesome if schools would teach credit from like middle school or high school, because this is where you can actually make good decisions. My first interaction with credit, I found out like our friends had a trip to Mexico. I didn't have the money. And my friend's like, hey, you can open up a credit card and go with us. I applied for a credit card, got the money, went to Mexico, couldn't pay off the card, and just got myself into more debt and then ruined my credit. So the separation is so crucial because a lot of people are like, well, I have the personal credit cards, I'm going to plug it into money. Or like, well, I don't want to get into debt with something else, and they're trying to use their savings, which is so improper because one thing people can do if you've used personal credit, right, and now you're carrying a balance, then your credit score will just drive down. And then if let's say now you need some more money, but you've put yourself in a position where now you have no access to anything else, Or let's say your family needs to buy a car. Now your credit score is bad because you're carrying that balance, and now nobody's approving you for a house, car, or you need to rent a space. All of these things are affecting. Whenever you carry balance on a business credit, it doesn't report to your personal side. So the proper way is keep your personal credit always perfect. Because even if you, let's say you're carrying a balance with a certain bank, and now you need to buy more time because it takes you a little longer to get to a place in the business where you want to be, you can leverage again your personal credit, which is perfect. And now you're going to go to a different bank and do it properly, get more access to capital, and you can survive. So the places where you can use business credit is pretty much for any business that you run that you need money. You can have any LLC open, and any business where you actually need funds. The biggest take from here is do not use your personal money or do not use your savings, because it takes you years and years to build up the savings, and now you're risking into the business. If you would risk with any money, you'd rather risk it with a bank's money because this is their business, right? They lend, and they also have they have a threshold where they understand some businesses might not do well, so that they kind of take that risk into their business, like any other business has risks in whichever the sphere. So the beautiful part about using business credit in the e-commerce world, it just gives you the scale potential. I mean, if you only have $10,000 to spend on inventory, you can only run so much sales. I mean, we've gotten to the point where we would spend 260,000 per month in inventory spend, which makes a whole lot more profit if you're spending $10,000 per month. And I mean, if we're taking space of real estate, a lot of people use hard money lenders that they charge 16, 18, 20%. And now you're at the high cost for interest. Also, your monthly payment is super high. And now you're just focusing on like how much money can I make to like make the payments, so on and so forth. But with if you use business credit, your monthly payment, as Serge said, only 1% of your balance. So if you've spent $50,000, your monthly payment is only $500, which is so doable to focus on your business growth. And then, I mean, because you're focusing on a business growth, now you're making all this money that you can comfortably pay this back and then just scale even more. And even after the promotional zero interest is over, the whole idea of building up your portfolio of money is two concepts like that worked for me is look for money when you don't need the money, because if there's opportunity and you don't have the money, you're late. But I'd rather sit on $1 million and not use it, because there could be something like let's say if you're in Amazon, right? You start out slow, but if you don't have money and then you're getting to the point like, hey, we can scale you to $200,000 per month, and you don't have the money, now you don't have that option. So it's always good to build up that portfolio of available credit to your name, and then if there's a season you don't need it, don't touch it. If there's a opportunity where you can utilize it and make a lot of money, that's great. Another cool thing about the e-commerce, because you have always a flood of money coming back in, even if you use credit cards that would charge you interest already, you can still use them and pay no interest because you just cycle the cards. You'll use one card, max it out, turn it to a different one, and now by the time when you need to pay this card, like the statement balance, you already have money flowing back in. You pay it off in full. You never pay interest, and you keep all of the profits. Which I've heard people give out percentage of their company just to get access to money, which it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah, there's a ton I want to unpack there because I've been in this game for, over a decade, and I've made like every single mistake that you just mentioned that this solves. So like One is like risking your savings or your personal money and your personal credit, right? This is business credit, so it's separate from your personal credit. So like the goal is not to default on this money, right? But like if worse
Right.
comes to worse, and there's all kinds of things that you have to do to do that, but like it's not going to affect your personal credit. And that's
Yeah.
huge. Um, Number two is like a traditional loan, the way it works, you take the loan, they usually give you a month, and then every single month, say I'd take like a $80,000 loan from my local bank or whoever it is that gives me the hard money loan, like by month two, I have to start paying principal plus interest back on a 60, 70, $80,000 loan. That could be like a 3 to 4K payment a month that you have to start paying back or more. And like it really hurts your cash flow. So
Oh
you
yeah.
mentioned with this, like 0% funding method, you only have to pay the minimum back. So you could get like $200,000 in credit and you only have to pay like $500 back a month, right?
So it will be 1%. So
1%.
200, but here's another crazy thing to that point. Your let's say you've used $200,000. Your minimum payment is $2,000. But as soon as you pay $2,000, that $2,000 that you just paid is instantly available for you to use again into the business, which is
Mm,
like whatever the money you have to pay is back available to you, which if you're using loans, whatever the money you've paid interest plus the payment is you're just having less and less and less money because you're paying off the loan, which
yeah.
this is like a line of credit that is accessible to you just to use it over and over. And again, I mean, especially with all the businesses that have a lot of expenditure, I mean, all the cash back and points, travel points that you make is just crazy. I mean, I've made tens of thousands of dollars in cash back just by I'm cycling the cards for inventory, and it just works. I mean, you double dip.
Yeah.
You don't pay interest, you get cash back, travel points, you travel for free just because you're running business.
Fun fact, if you do cash back, that is tax free. So I know some people that spend like 300, 400, $500,000 a month on ads and they use a credit card for that and they get 2% cash back on that. And it's all tax free.
Yep.
So like legally, right? You don't have to use any tricks or anything. You can just withdraw the cash. So like a lot of people make a lot of tax-free money just with cash back. And then another really important thing that you mentioned, which is a lesson I've learned, is like having access to this capital. So just because you have this big credit line doesn't mean you have to use it. So, but it's there for when you need it. And I found out what you mentioned was like if you don't have it and then you need it, it's already too late, right? You have to scramble, you have to try to get it. You miss the opportunity or you take bad terms because you're desperate. So like having this just in your pocket, ready to go, and not having to use it until the right opportunity is huge.
Well, I have a literally a real life story where there's a person that he knows that I do business credit. And then he's just like he wants to learn, and he's like, well, like I just want to know how it works, blah blah. And then I tell him, well, hey, it's good to prep yourself and get the money. He's like, well, I understand. I'm gonna do it later. Like right now, I don't see myself using it. Literally about 5 months go by and he's in construction world, and he's like he comes back to me. He's like, hey Gennady, like I'm really in a bad spot because I can get a really good projects where I can make so much money. I just need some money that I can use up front to pay my the guys that work for me. What are my options? And then we go into details. What he did is he used up his personal credit, which the issue I talked about earlier. Now his credit is bad, and now he has no options at all, which he could have gotten business credit earlier, just let it sit there. Now the opportunity for him to get projects where he can make 20, 30 grand per month, now he's passing it by just because of ignorance, or again, the way I see it, I mean, I've been in this space for 7 years, and I remember the first times when I hear about credit, you can't really connect the dots. That's where I think this video will be helpful for people just to have that light bulb go up. It's like, oh, I never thought about this way, you know? Or a lot of people are sitting on a gold mine, which is their great credit score. They just don't know how to put that to work and actually get the high limit credit cards, because it's not a secret to go, you can go and get a credit card, but there is so much underground work in order for you to get high limit credit cards where someone can go and get $15,000 or $200,000. There is a whole science to it where you either take your route of learning it for 2, 3 years and mastering it, or pretty much just use the people that have been in the space and they know how to do that properly. So, I mean, a life story where it impacted his life, like one, he missed the opportunity, and then he put himself in a position where he's like, well, I can't pay it off. Now it just delayed. He probably lost those projects. And I mean, that's not even a concept. That's the true event that happened.
Yeah, right. And I mean, like you said, like I could go out and I could get, say, like $100,000 of funding myself, but with the same information, you guys know the ins and outs, the intricacies, like the little details to get me $400,000 instead. And like I would much rather have 400K than 100K credit line, right?
Yeah.
So I always say like when you want to do something in business, like go seek the experts who can do it at the highest standard, the highest level. And I'm lucky that I found you guys and met you guys because I certainly think you guys live up to that standard. So who can like if they're watching this video, who could qualify for this surge?
Yeah, so approvals depend on a few key factors, but if I was going to boil it down for simplicity's sake, I'd say entrepreneurs with good or even excellent personal credit are kind of the client that's ready to go and get funded. Now, if your credit is say lower than 680, 700, and you maybe have some derogatories or a little bit of fine tuning to do, we have ways of helping clients just get to the point where they are fundable, right, before we take them to the banks, before they ever see underwriting. But the good news here is that when it comes to your business, you can be in startup mode. You can have a new business. With business credit, it's unsecured debt. And so the blessing of that is you don't need revenue or tax returns or any of that to prove to the banks that, you're already making 2, 5, 10 million per year in gross revenue. You don't need any of that. We're going to take you through a process where you're not going to prove anything to the banks, and we're going to strictly springboard from your personal credit standing into business credit so that you can grow that relationship with the banks and in the future be able to be fundable even on the corporate credit side. So 0% business credit cards or lines are available for even for new businesses, right? Again, personal credit standing needs to be strong, but if it isn't, we do work with clients to get them there so that they can be fundable.
Got you. So if somebody doesn't have, the best credit score, you guys would help with that also so that they could get like the maximum amount of funding, right?
Yes, and it's also it's important to understand that it's not just about your score number, because there are clients who are in the high 700s, but they're barely fundable. And the reason being is that score is made up of many, many, many things. And so we want to make sure that on your personal credit, we help you establish what underwriting is looking for. And we
Hmm.
understand that. We understand the data points that they are looking for when we go and apply for business credit. So all of this, there's a lot of little, like you mentioned, there's a lot of intricacies, a little underlying stones that we need to go through, but this is what we're here for. We want to make sure that we align the client perfectly so that when he goes into underwriting, he has success in funding.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I took a $80,000 loan from a family member whenever I started my first brand, and like, dude, that is stressful to have that like hanging over your head. I wish I would have known about this. I wish I would have known you guys 10 years ago to, be able to do this myself.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about like ecom brands, real estate, like starting Airbnb, short-term rentals and stuff. What's some other creative ways that people might not, think about that you could use this?
Well, I'll plug in and Serge, you can share some of that stuff too. I would say well, whenever you hear word business, I think the success comes from creativity, right? Whether you create something or you provide a certain service, right, that is creative, and now like your business is doing great. I'm sure there's a lot of creativity in the marketing space where there's creative ways for people to do marketing, which you guys know how to do that. One of the things that there's creative way if somebody got business credit, but they're like, well, we need partially cash from that. There's a creative way to actually get cash out of the credit card, which not be cash advance, because as soon as you pull cash advance, you pay 24, 29%. So there is a way to do it properly where that still stays at 0%, but now you have accessibility to cash. And Serge, what do you have on your mind as far as another creativity?
Yeah, so if structured properly, the profits from using business credit can be funneled into, retirement accounts, stocks, even life insurance policies, right? You can get very creative here because, again, to reiterate, business credit is unsecured debt. It's not like a loan. When you go get a loan, you're providing almost a business plan for what you're going to use these dollars for. Here, it's an unsecured debt, so it's up to you what you're going to do with it. So some entrepreneurs use this business credit to buy assets that generate, tax advantage, helping legally basically reduce taxable income. Some even do life insurance policies that build wealth over time. So you can get very creative here. I have guys who do Turo, vending machines, whatever it is, does not matter.
That's a cool idea. I've done Turo before, and I had a few cars. I've not done vending machines, but I could see like you use this funding to buy more vending machines and build that business faster. And then like a real world example from me is like I've gotten pretty good at launching products, right? My success rate used to be like 40% success, then 50, and now it's like pretty much any product I launch is successful. But it's just how much money can I put into that launch and how fast, how rapidly can I launch products? And that's just a function of like how much cash can I stack, or if I want to take on debt, which I traditionally like, I never took on a traditional loan because like you owe principal and interest from the start. But like this would be a awesome way to launch products faster, and put more marketing dollars into the machine because like any business it's a living organism and every living organism needs food to grow. And for a business, that food is cash, right?
For sure. Yeah, I also want to mention another creativity where sometimes people don't have a business and they're like, well, I don't really want to open one, or they're just mentally can't, right? They're like, well, I don't think I'm good at business. And there's also these healthy automations, which I would say any business, well, whether you do it yourself or someone does it for you, there's risks involved, right? If you're not tolerant to risk, probably it's good to stick to 8 to 5 and just enjoy the life within the benefits that that job provides. But if you're a business owner, or because I know business owners that they're like, hey, I have enough money for my business, or I don't really need much money, they would take the bank's money and they would go into an automation business where someone else does the work for them. All they're doing is taking someone else's money, which is bank's money, plugging that into an automation where someone else would do the work for them and grow their business. So that's another creative way, like the concept of look for money when you don't need money, is one. The other one for me is create passive income when you don't need the money. Because if you're building passive income when you need pay your bills and everything, then it's stressful because it takes time because it's a real business. It's just someone else is doing it for you. And then it's going to take time. And also, if something happens, you have the risk advantage because you've risked with bank's money and separate from you personally. But then, just by leveraging business credit, you can turn something into where something else brings you $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 per month of income without you spending the time. Or we have business owners that they focus on their business, they partially take that capital into their business, partially they put it into something where they passively can build something over the years, which that's great too, because you're not even using your money, you're just leveraging bank's money to create another source of income, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny because like in the world of real estate, that's like the actual game. That's the entire game from day one. It's how do I leverage debt? How do I leverage other people's money to build this real estate portfolio? And that's just like what you do. But then in other businesses like e-com or whatever else, that's like not how people think. But if you apply what people do in real estate to other businesses, like it works too, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
I think it's something that a lot of people aren't even aware of because it's not standard practice, but it definitely works.
I think that's the foundation of success. And again, a lot of people went through Dave Ramsey, and again, I think he helped a lot of people that are not business-minded people because unhealthy debt is super bad. I mean, it
Right.
affected me negatively because I decided to go to Mexico without having money to afford Mexico or whatever. But then I've gotten to the point I'm like, hey, I want to buy a house. I go apply. They're like, well, your credit's bad. And then I'm like, what is credit? And then I had to learn how impactful that is because I mean, there's probably 15 bullet points of what your credit is actually affecting, not even just the business credit accessibility. So the crazy part would be people need to understand it's okay to have a healthy debt because you just buy so much time back because on average people save 500 bucks if they save. To save up $100,000 it'll take you about 20 years, and imagine you've saved up for 20 years 100K invested into a business and it didn't go. You've just cried. This would be like the uh I mean, such a crisis in your life. You're like, dude,
Hmm.
I've taken so much time and I've uh, given everything I've got. And I mean, with a business credit, there's certain things you do, and then you can get access to that like tomorrow or like within a month. And now you've just, I don't know, saved so many years and use it in a way where you're actually going to build something. I mean, just like don't go and rent Lamborghinis to create content and then you're not going to have money back, you know?
Right. Yeah. There's good debt and there's good ways to use debt, and that's what we want. If you guys, try to do this, and anybody watching this, if you try to do this and you say, I just want to buy like a vacation or a Lambo or whatever, like we're gonna turn you down. We don't want you to get into that trouble, right?
Yeah.
So, well, awesome conversation, guys. I really appreciate it. Is there any, final thoughts, final words, any tips and advice that you would like to give everybody?
I'll wrap up and Serge, you can finish up. I think for me, the first concept of business credit just seemed like unreal. Like, because during that time, I knew I wanted to quit my job. And I'm like, I mean, all the money I've made went to bills, and I was just trying to either do some sales, extra job, side hustle, and it takes truly a lot of time to even hit something that worked out, and then you're just utilizing, I mean, you having two jobs or you're just working after work to create something, which the moment I got access to capital or credit, I was able to go and learn something new. I was able to purchase a program. I was able to fly out to conference, which actually is building up um, you as a person, and then you can actually level up. And then, especially the time when we started the Amazon store, it was so impactful because I mean, we couldn't have done it with our money that's coming in from our jobs. We leveraged the business credit, and me coming from like no knowledge, what we realize, 99% of people don't think they could have access to it. I think if we wrap this up, the biggest thing people need to understand that like as long as you have credit score, or as long as you live in America, I mean, this is probably the only country that has that availability. Because I mean, I have family in Ukraine. I know people from Europe. They're like, this doesn't exist. I mean,
Right.
0% is just something crazy to them. So everybody needs to know that you can get access to leverage, and the biggest thing would be have the right mindset where, hey, you can leverage it in a healthy way where you build, right? I mean, it's okay to want a Lamborghini, invest it into business, invest it into yourself, make money, use that into your whatever the things you want. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I've built my businesses, and I drove Honda Civic 2005 and Honda Civic 2010, and then once I grew the business, then the business is affording my Mercedes AMG package. That's how you do it, because uh, the hype only lasts for some time. Build something great where then you can afford to fly out anywhere for vacation, take care of your family, build something great, go travel, buy toys. And I mean, if you Lamborghini is something you want, go ahead and buy it, but just use that in a healthy way.
Love it. Serge?
Yeah, so I'll just finish up with this and to piggyback off of what Gennady said, banks need qualified borrowers, right? Just as much as business owners need capital. Okay. So what we do in what how we service our clients is we help them position their credit properly, position their LLCs properly, so that then they can access this 0% promotional business credit and build their projects and scale their companies. So that's what we do, and we'll be happy to help you do that same.
Awesome. Gennadiy Serg, thank you so much. That's 0% business credit, guys. If you're watching this video and you think that this might be something that fits for you or you're interested in it, I'll drop the links how to contact these guys and how to apply in the description of this video. And whether you want to use this for your e-commerce brand for more marketing dollars, your Airbnb business for more, rentals or whatever it might be, I think you should at least explore this and consider it. So go grab the link below, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.